Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I am your host, Jackie Close, and this is our monthly online essential oils webinar. Welcome. Today, our topic is Thieves Household Cleaner. Is it your better choice? And joining me for today's presentation is my wonderful husband, Dr. Ed Close. Ed, are you on the line with us this morning?
Yeah, I am. Good morning.
Good morning. Great. All right. Well, let's get started. Let's see. All right, this is just mine and Ed's background, and I've had 18 years experience with essential oils, and as a result, Ed has too. Although his focus has been elsewhere, he still has a lot of knowledge and understanding, and of course, he's done all the research on using Thieves oil for mold, so I'm sure most of you on the presentation know our backgrounds, but Ed has a PhD in environmental science and engineering. He's a registered professional engineer, and he's been an expert in environmental science with over 40 years of experience, so he has a lot of background. And I've been a fully certified care instructor for the Center for Aromatherapy Research and Education. I'm also have been a member of the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapists. I was a registered aromatherapist from 2001 until 2011, and I've been teaching oils. I've taught in universities. I've taught all over the United States and Canada, and we've also been invited speakers abroad, both of us. So that's who's doing the seminar today. And again, this month's topic is Thieves Household Cleaner. Is it your best choice? So when you go to the grocery store, there's always that aisle, I call it that aisle, where the chemical smells are just overwhelming. Have you ever noticed that? I know I do. And what's on that aisle? All the cleaners and chemical air fresheners and detergents and all the things that, to my nose, stink. I don't know about you, but they really do smell bad to me. And well, in 1985, there was a study done by the US EPA, and it found that standard household cleaners are 3 times more likely to cause cancer than outdoor air pollution. And women who clean their own homes have a higher death rate from cancer. Do you know how much higher? 54%. That's astonishing. That just by cleaning your homes using these standard cleaners, you have a 54% higher chance of death from cancer. Studies also found that breast cancer rates doubled in women who used the most common cleaning products. And this was a study published in Environmental Health in 2010. Now, the American Association of Poison Control Centers says the largest number of poisonings each year are due to cleaning products. And the CDC found that 150 chemicals that were in all of the most commonly used household cleaners have been linked to cancer, allergies, birth defects, and psychological abnormalities. So, you know, it's really terrifying. 2 children die every day from accidental poisonings at home, according to the CDC. And what are they saying the majority of those poisonings are? They're related to household cleaners. Researchers at Tufts University School of Medicine found that antibacterial soaps and cleaners that use harmful synthetic chemicals like triclosan, and there are others, and there are endocrine disruptors, and those have been linked to cancer, thyroid damage, and isn't thyroid cancer becoming one of the most prominent cancers after breast cancer? Weight gain, memory loss, fatigue, and depression. These are big problems in our country, and some of the things that contribute to it, it's not everything, it's not the only cause, but certainly if you've got this, wouldn't you want to get rid of it? And I know I have a lot of people say to me, oh, well, that's why I use a green cleaner. I use 7th Generation, or I use Nature's Source, or I use Greenworks. And Can you talk a little bit about the green seal?
Yeah, like Jackie said, a lot of people will say, well, you know, I only use things with green seal, so I'm safe. Green seal may not mean what you think it means. I actually did some research about it because it kept coming up so much, and people really thought that this was really protecting them. It turns out there are a couple of things you need to know. Number one is Green Seal is a private organization of scientists and engineers. They don't really say what their qualifications are, but who will, for a fee, study a particular company. So the point is the company has to contact them and ask them to have a look at their processes and everything and see if they can give them the green seal. And the company pays them for that. That's how they maintain their staff and make their money. Is big companies like Clorox and General Electric and so on and so forth pay them to do studies and then come up and say, yes, this company has achieved the prestigious green seal. What does that mean? You go online, you go into their information, and you find out that it doesn't mean what you think it does. It means they're environmentally friendly in the sense that they're not dumping toxic chemicals into the nearest stream. They're not polluting the air with huge smokestacks. They are abiding by EPA rules and so forth. But it actually says in their material that this has nothing to do with toxicity. There are no toxicological requirements. In fact, in their material that they send out to companies, they say the product shall not be required to be labeled because it is toxic or highly toxic. So in other words, a green seal says nothing at all about toxicity or health of the user. So this is very misleading, and you need to know this. And what percentage of chemicals have been approved? This is another thing. People will say, well, you know, the government wouldn't let us use chemicals that are harmful to our health. Only, well, less than 2% actually of the chemicals that come out all the time, and I did research on this, and I could go into the number of chemicals that are synthetic chemicals that are being produced every year, new ones. The government can't, nobody can keep up with it. Less than 2% is tested. So that's another myth that people have. Childhood asthma has increased by 400% in the last 25 years, and a lot of this is due to just what we've been talking about, exposure to household cleaners. Air fresheners, by the way, which are chemical, they cover the odors and so forth, but they are not good for you. Lysol, I could tell you a lot of problems there. You can actually be killed by using Lysol in connection with some other cleaners, which will actually send off chlorine gas, which is deadly if you get a good lungful of it. These are principal factors in why childhood asthma has risen so much. Well, what can you do about it? You know, you say, oh my gosh, what can I do? You go to your health food store and you look at everything and you find out that things are mislabeled. They'll say they're natural when they're not, or only 1% this and that, and they're diluted and they've got chemicals in them. But you do have control. You have control over what you can buy. And you choose what you use by how you spend your dollars. So if we stop buying these toxic chemicals, they'll stop producing them, because the only reason they do it is it makes them a lot of money. Now, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Jackie. You want to talk about the household cleaner a little bit.
Okay, so that's what our topic is today, and what is it that makes the Young Living Thieves household cleaner so special? Well, to answer that, we have to talk a little bit about Young Living and what makes them different. Gary Young is the man who created the Thieves household cleaner. He is a world-renowned expert in organic herb farming and also in essential oil distillation and blending. And Gary studied with MDs, PhDs, and with organic farmers and distillers from 1982 to 1994. So his focus for 12 years was to study and learn what works, to do it organically, what causes harm, how to grow, distill, blend, and create essential oils and products that are organically produced all the way from seed to seal on the bottle. And that way he guarantees what's in those bottles. Then he took that knowledge and the skill that he'd acquired and he created his own company in 1993. And the goal was to preserve something that he saw that was being lost, and that was the lavender farms and the growers were going more and more to mixing oils and adding synthetics to oils. And his teacher, Marcel Esbiu, who was the president of the Lavender Growers Association in southern France, told him one day, "You won't be able to get real oils, Gary. They'll be gone. The only way you can have them is to grow them yourself." So Gary Young created Young Living, and he now has 6 organic herb farms on 4 continents. And he's also built and maintains 10 distilleries on those 4 continents. And this is the man who created Thieves Oil and the Thieves Household Cleaner. His focus is on preservation of organically produced products from seed to seal. So that's kind of the background. Now the Thieves Household Cleaner contains the all-natural organically produced Thieves essential oil, which is made up of clove, cinnamon, lemon, rosemary, and Eucalyptus radiata, which is one of several eucalyptus oils. And in 1977, a study conducted by Weber State University in Ogden, Utah, found that the Thieves blend of oils has a 93% kill rate against gram-positive bacteria and a 99.6% kill rate against gram-negative bacteria. So Gary created and published a great natural antibiotic and antiviral blend. And in it, he called for 8 to 10 drops of Thieves oil, 4 drops of frankincense, and that's the Boswellia carteri. We have 2 different types of frankincense. We have the Boswellia carteri and the Boswellia sacra. But this blend was created with the carteri, and 2 to 4 drops of oregano. Now, we've had really some pretty miraculous results using this natural antibiotic antiviral blend, and we mix them up in veggie caps right in our own kitchen, and you can do that too. Ed and I used to get the flu, and I got bronchitis every year, but we've only had the flu once, and I haven't had bronchitis at all since we started using these oils, and that's been nearly 14 years now. And we know several people who've used this same blend to stop mono instead of being sick for 2 months, which is what the doctors will tell you, and they have nothing that will deal with it. The people that we know, and this includes a member of our own family, they were only sick for a few days. In fact, one was only sick for 4 days and went back to work, even though she had just been told just 3 days before by her doctor that she should prepare to be sick for at least 2 months and in terrible pain. So Thieves oil is so powerful, many people just use the Thieves oil by itself to avoid flu, bronchitis, and things like that. And even for children, you can take just 1 to 3 drops in your hand and rub it on the bottoms of their feet and send them off to school. And you can put a drop on a cotton ball and put it in a Ziploc bag and send it to school with them. And they can go into the restroom so nobody knows what they're doing and pull that out and inhale it during the day. Just stick their face so that they can get that scent just above the bag, and that way they can protect themselves from things going around in school. And the Thieves blend is also very effective against mold. And Ed, can you talk just a little bit more about that? Can't hear you, Ed. We don't hear you, Ed.
Sorry, I had myself muted so you wouldn't hear me drinking coffee.
Okay.
Yes, without going into a lot of detail, let me tell you how the book and the DVD were generated. This was an environmental consulting job that I had for a client that I'd done a lot of work for, who had a mold problem that they just couldn't solve. They had tried, you name it, they had tried everything, from bleach to industrial strength fungicides, and nothing worked. Jackie pointed out to me that the Thieves oil blend, among others, said they were antifungal. And so I said, all right, let's try this out and give it a test. I wasn't enthusiastic in the beginning because I'm looking at these little 15 milliliter bottles and I'm saying I've got a 48 unit apartment complex that's full of mold. How am I going to do this? And she said, well, you're the engineer. You've got to figure that out. So I did, without going into a lot of detail. This graph that you can see in front of you here now is an indication of one of the apartments that was full of toxic mold, and I only plotted the three real bad guys here: Stachybotrys, Aspergillus, and Cladosporum. A big portion of all of the diseases and ailments that come from mold exposure come from one or more of these three species. So you can see they were very high in mold spore counts per cubic meter of air. I diffused this oil blend, Thieves, for 24 hours in these apartments, and you can see how it took a dive. You see the before and after points on the graph. And not only that, 2 weeks later, it had reduced even farther, even though they were still working in these apartments and workmen were going in and out and so forth. So this was amazing to me.
Well,
and
you
clients.
didn't even do any more diffusing after that, or cleaning with it or anything, did you?
No, there was nothing at all. In fact, the client said, well, we see your graph. I showed them what happened in 24 hours. They said, but we've used all kinds of stuff and it just comes right back again in a few days. Well, how do we know this won't happen with this? So I said to them, I don't know. This is an experiment. We're trying this out to see if it'll work. This is the first time, to my knowledge, there's ever been a field test of using this blend or any essential oils, natural essential oils, to eliminate toxic mold. So I came back after 2 weeks, and like I say, they've been going in and out. There was no further treatment of any kind, and yet the levels had reduced even farther to way below what the outdoor levels were. So this is what I call a residual effect, which here's a clue to that. The other things that are out there don't have it because they are toxic chemicals. Bleach doesn't work, and neither do a lot of the others, and they go away very quickly, so they do not have this residual effect. And a lot of times the conditions, just like in this case, are still there that cause the mold, and so it rebounds and starts right back up again. Now I decided to do a test based on some ideas that I'd heard about using Thieves to get rid, since it works so well in these apartments. I thought, well, what will it do outdoors on mold and algae that builds up on the side of the house, or on your patio. This is our patio, and so you can see what I did. I applied the household cleaner. This was in I believe a 1-to-4 mix. I just sprayed it on about a 3-foot square patch of our back patio, and let it set for 15 minutes, and then scrubbed it with a mop and washed it off with a hose. And this is what you see. Now, this is impressive. However, what about as time goes on? Does this come right back? 10 months later, this is the same spot with no further treatment. You can see it looks pretty much like it did before, but this is 10 months later. You can see the leaves of the fall, September 2006. And then 15 months later, you can see a little ice there on the patio. 15 months more than a year. So you've gone through all of the seasons, spring, summer, winter, and fall, and you still have nothing growing here. So this was very demonstrative to me that this really does work better than most things out there. And 19 of the mold species were eliminated 100%, and the ones that were only growing indoors were eliminated 100%, and that's an important point because the ones that grow indoors, like Stachybotrys and certain species of Aspergillus and Cladosporum, only grow indoors. You rarely, if ever, find them in outdoor samples. They are the ones that cause the most problems because they build up colonies and send out lots of spores. The 99.27 of all of the 32 different species that I saw in all of these case studies that we've reported in the book that we showed at the beginning, Nature's Mold RX, this is because you never can seal off a home or an office or an apartment entirely, so you still have species coming in from outside that are in the air all the time. In this part of the country, there's 1,000 to 1,500 mold spores per cubic meter in the ambient air on average, and in the summertime it gets much higher than that. So even with that, those species were more than 99% eliminated. So this is a very effective way of taking care of mold. I had a couple of ideas that came up from looking at the data that I added up, over the years and doing the tests. And a lot of people ask, how does this work? Does it just kill the mold spores, and they're still cause allergenic reactions even if they're dead? So I did some work and I found no, they're destroyed, they're gone away. Well, sometime later, 2011, I made this discovery in like 2007 or 8. 2011, we have a report coming out that that oils do destroy the mold by destroying the cells, by damaging the cell membrane. So in other words, they break that spore down, so it's not just killed, it is dissolved. And then I had another idea that I put forth about the same time, that because this was a pure physics thing, as you know, in my background, physics and mathematics was my first academic pursuits, and just based on the physics of it, the fact that mold spores have little prongs on them and they're sticky and they cling to things and they're airborne, but they're much larger than viruses and bacteria. The largest bacteria molecule is still as small or smaller than the smallest of mold spores, and bacteria and viruses usually ride on moisture particles, like when you sneeze, and those fall to the floor pretty quickly or to surfaces, whereas mold spores can stay floating in the air. We've been tests that shown if you disturb a colony, the spores will stay suspended in the air for 24 hours or longer. And so again, this sort of common sense idea that I came up with, that they're piggybacking on mold spores, which means if you get exposed to mold, you're also probably getting exposed to viruses and bacteria on a regular basis. And here we find that this was validated in university studies and so forth in 2012.
And just so people, I'm going to go back just for a minute to the previous, because there will be people who will be watching this afterwards, and they may not be able to read these slides. So the independent testing that show that oils work by destroying fungal cells by actually damaging the cell membrane and digesting or eating the mold spores so that they're no longer there, was reported in the Journal of Medical Microbiology for the Society of General Microbiology in February of 2011. And the peer-reviewed paper that we discovered in 2012 showing that viruses and bacteria actually piggyback on mold spores was published by the Extension Service of the U.S. Department of Agriculture in cooperation with 7 universities and 12 north central states. So these are peer-reviewed independent studies that show that the things that Ed had postulated or theorized or developed an idea based on the data that he was collecting have actually been proven in studies done by independent researchers.
Yeah, and one thing that people will say, well, I don't know if I want to use your product because this is particularly true in schools and hospitals and places like that, because they'll say, well, it has to be EPA approved. Well, the Thieves oil is approved by the FDA for human consumption. In other words, you can take it internally, so it's certainly not toxic. In fact, all but one of the oils in the Thieves blend are on FIFRA's exempted list, meaning they are not even considered to be toxic in any way, shape, or form. And the one that's not on there is not on there because it's considered a food. I think it was lemon, if I remember right. But so this can be used on a regular basis. You're not going to get sick from using it, and it's protective of your pets and everything. It's not going to be. Now, when you're doing a diffusing with the protocol that we published in the book, you do have to use a little common sense. If, as a friend of mine told me recently, you know what it is about common sense, it's very uncommon. At any rate, you have to just kind of use your own intelligence and see how it affects you and your pets. If you start tasting it and causes you to sneeze or something, then go out of the room while you're diffusing if you have mold. Now, when you use this on a regular basis, you don't use it at that intense and strong concentration for that length of time, so you generally don't get into this type of problem. During the treatment of mold, it's like, I like to liken it to a shock treatment for a pool. You're going for at least 24 hours up to 72 hours at full strength, and you're really saturating the air with the very fine molecular, almost particles of the oils, so that it really gets to the mold and all the spores in the air and on all the surfaces. So, Jackie, you're going to talk a little more about the products in general. I think I've covered pretty much the use for mold.
Okay, but you were going to go just a little bit further here, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay, Thieves Household Cleaner, as you know, they're all natural, organically produced, and you can't underline enough that Young Living, Gary Young in particular, is absolutely adamant about the way these are grown, and we've visited their farms, so it's not just hype that they put out on the internet or in advertisement. We've visited their farms and seen the distillers at work and the workers and the whole process from, as Jackie said, from seed to seal, from planting to sealing the oil in the bottles. And the testing that we've done and others have done independently, including for bacteria, and that's an important thing that I get asked a lot. Well, it takes care of the mold. How about bacteria? Actually, it does a better job than the cleaners that are commonly used in restaurants and coffee shops and so forth. We had a fellow who does that kind of testing in Florida tested against them, and he found out not only did it do a better job in the beginning, it had that residual effect, which the other stuff doesn't, because you don't want chlorine molecules and other toxic molecules on your countertops and so forth. So these oils were originally, by Gary, were originally developed to help enhance and improve health. The discovery that it would really take care of toxic mold was a big plus, and I could go into a lot of detail of why that actually works, of why oils from plants will improve your health, and why they also are designed to kill mold, because they protect the plants from mold and bacteria. And Young Living it really is the standard. You can see it's kind of interesting now, and I usually don't like to mention brand names, but Clorox in particular has come out with their Green Works and so forth, and stated that they are leading in the standard for natural products. Well, that's pure PR. This is a company that's been poisoning you for many years, and now all of a sudden they think they're on the forefront. And that's just because they have the word green, and I've already told you what that means. It has nothing to do with toxicity. So how does Young Living's Thieves household cleaner compare to the best-selling and the best green cleaner? I did this research, and I think it's important to show you that when you look at the products, and you look at, on the left-hand side, you'll see I've listed criteria. Is it non-toxic, therapeutic, from 100% natural sources, antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal, eco-friendly, and that's important. Does it contain synthetic chemicals or hazardous materials, and is it toxic? And you'll see if you move to the right, Thieves household cleaner has X's in all of the good things, from non-toxic to eco-friendly, and the best-selling ones have 3 of those. They're antimicrobial, antibacterial, and antifungal, and not arguing that they're not. But look down on the lower level, they all contain synthetic chemicals, they all contain hazardous materials that are toxic and listed by EPA as toxic and hazardous materials. I also went to the best-selling green cleaner, and the only thing it can say is it's eco-friendly. It doesn't even say that it's antimicrobial, bacterial, or fungal. And it definitely is synthetic chemicals, it's hazardous, has hazardous materials as designated by EPA, and it is toxic. So this is a very visual comparison that shows you that there is no comparison between the Thieves household cleaner and the best-selling products that are out there on the market. We did a brochure, and this is a picture of the front of it, that has most of this information we've been talking about. Jackie, I believe you were going to take it up from here.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're interested in getting this brochure, it's available from Life Science Publishers, or we call it LSP, and you can find them online. And this has been one of their best-selling brochures. It's a fold-out that has a lot of the information that you have received here this morning. But what about price? How does the Young Living Thieves household cleaner compare in price to other cleaners? This is a big one for anybody because everybody is looking for a way to save money these days. So the really good news is that anybody can have a wholesale account with Young Living, and when you have a wholesale account, you're always going to save at least 24% off the retail price for Young Living's products. Now, if you do it right, you can actually save between 30 and 50%, but since anyone can save at least 24%, we're going to use that price to calculate our cost comparisons. So, we took general cleaning and disinfecting, and we looked at Clorox Cleanup, Greenworks, Pine Sol, Lysol, Lemon, and 7th generation. And just looking at the price per quart, Clorox, Greenworks, Pine Sol, Lysol, and 7th generation range from $3.96 a quart to $7.35 a quart. But when you get the Thieves household cleaner, it's highly concentrated, and you have to dilute it to really see it clean the way you want it to and not waste your money. So if you dilute the Thieves household cleaner according to the directions on the bottle, then we looked at what it would cost if you bought it in the 14-ounce bottle and the 64-ounce bottle. And a quart would cost you $1.57. So look at this price, $1.38 to $1.57, compared to what you're paying for the other things. And you can see that it's less than half the cost. And if you look at it per ounce, this is another way to look at the same thing. Clorox and the general standard cleaning methods and even the green cleaning options run between 12.5 cents and 23 cents per ounce. But Young Living, when you use it as diluted, as directed for dilution for doing general cleaning and disinfecting, it costs you 5 cents per ounce, 5 cents per ounce and 4 cents per ounce. So,
Jackie, let me make a comment here. This was a surprise to me. Jackie asked me to do the research on this, and you can get occasionally in sales and so forth, you can get different prices on these items, but these are generally the going prices online or in retail stores for the brand name cleaners. And I wanted to say that a lot of times people look at Young Living and look in the catalogs and they'll say, wow, that's $22 for a little bottle of that, and they say that's awful expensive. Well, it's actually not true, because in the products you get from the cleaning companies like Clorox, that's mostly water that you're buying. They've already diluted it, because if it has bleach in it, they can't have more than 3 or 4% of the active ingredient. So most of it you're buying water. So you can't compare the price of the Young Living product that you see in the catalog for Thieves household cleaner with these directly. You have to do it in the way we've done in this table, in cost per ounce, and you find that you're paying a lot less. So that's a myth that a lot of people like to put forth. It's true about all of Young Living's products because of the doctor bills that they save and so forth, but it's very clear here that you get better cleaning, you get no toxic materials, not injurious to your health, and you're paying a lot less. It's a no-brainer.
So we also looked at degreasers, and Ed did this, and the cost per quart for Lysol degreaser is $11.14. But the price per quart for the Thieves household cleaner, when it's diluted to directions, is just $3.05, or if you get the 64 ounce, it's just $2.66. And the cost per ounce, you can pay almost 35 cents, or you can pay about 10 cents, 8 or 10 cents for it. So, you know, like Ed said, there really is no comparison. And do you just want to pay that much extra for the water that you've got coming out of your tap that you can use? It's really easy to go to Walmart and buy a 50-cent spray bottle and mix these things up and mark them according to the dilution ratios. You can replace all of these cleaners that you pay all this money for with just the one bottle and a few spray bottles and use that. And so we looked at glass cleaner. I really love using Thieves household cleaner to clean windows and my stainless steel. But what I found is that you have to use the dilution ratios given on the bottle for the Thieves, and I usually add about a quarter to a half a cup of vinegar into a quart mixture that I make up. And that really does a fantastic job of cleaning windows and stainless steel, whereas if I don't put that vinegar in there, sometimes I get a few streaks. But with the vinegar, there's no streaks at all. And I'd much rather use vinegar than have the Windex, which causes me to have allergies and headaches. So cost per ounce, you're looking at a difference of about 14 cents to about 3 cents per ounce. And that's a huge savings. You don't have to order it as much. Look at it this way. With the other things, you have to go to the grocery store every couple of weeks or every month or so at least to buy them. But with Young Living, you don't even have to spend your gas and your time picking those things up. All you have to do is just order them and have them shipped directly to your home. And you won't have to order them as often. So, I mean, it's just really a great option. Now, you might be wondering at this point, how do you get started and how do you get the Thieves household cleaner? And I would say contact the person who invited you to this presentation and tell them you want to open a wholesale account, because that's how you can always save that 24%. And like I told you, you can save even more than that. There are options and rewards that will allow you to save more than that. And if you have questions, well, we're going to get to our questions, so let's go ahead and do that. I know we've had several questions because I saw some of them in the before we got started. And for those of you who haven't submitted questions, if you want to, you can do that. So, can you do all of your laundry with just the Thieves household cleaner? That's going to vary from place to place. With us, we have a very high iron content in our water. And if you use just the Thieves household cleaner, we found that it can actually cause the iron to collect on the clothes. So we use it in combination with other things, and we actually clean. We have a front-loading washer, one of those great front-loading washers that uses less water and requires less of the laundry detergents and things. And so we use just 1 cup of laundry detergent and 1 cap of Thieves household cleaner. And when we want to clean that, a lot of people I've seen online have problems with mold and other problems that start happening in those front-loading washers. And I clean mine once a month with 1 cap full of Thieves household cleaner. I've had it for 2 years, and we've never had any problem whatsoever. So there are a lot of people who use just the Thieves household cleaner to do their cleaning for laundry. And like I say, it depends on what the water is like in your area. So I would do a test just to find out with something that if it got damaged, it wouldn't be a problem. Do any of the Young Living oils emulsify arteriosclerotic plaque in coronary blood arteries or other arteries? I'm not sure, and I think this is coming from a medical professional, from a doctor. I'm not sure about emulsify, but I know that there are a number of the oils that have been found to reduce plaque and lower cholesterol, and you can find the answers to that. There are several resources that we highly recommend Number one is the essential oil desk reference, which you can get from Life Science Publishing, and that has all of Gary Young's, it's the only book that he has approved with all of his experience and training and information about how to use different oils for different things, including
Jackie,
health challenges.
let me climb.
Well, let
Let me
me
chime
finish.
in on this question, please.
Okay, but let me finish with the resources before you do. The next book is the Higley Guide, and that is the reference guide for essential oils by Connie and Alan Higley, and that's available at abundanthealthforyou.com. And for medical professionals, Life Science has a group of 3 publications that are transcripts of trainings that took place in France. There are symposia in France where doctors and medical professionals presented papers on testing they had done in France, which is a medical specialty in France. You cannot discuss the use of essential oils with the general public unless you are a medical doctor trained in phytotherapy. And so those papers are peer-reviewed, highly educational papers for anyone, but especially for a medical professional. And if you send me an email, I will send you links where you can get all of these. So, okay, Ed?
Read that question again. I don't have it showing on my screen.
Do any of the Young Living oils emulsify arteriosclerotic plaque in coronary blood arteries and other arteries?
Okay. Emulsification. Emulsify means to mix with oxygen. The emulsification is to aerate, and what that does is to break down the plaque because it gets oxygen to it, and it allows it then to be flushed out. And the plaque is generally a fatty or fatty acid that's built up. And there is a lot of research showing that the essential oils do carry oxygen into the bloodstream. There's a lot of research that's been done showing that that's one of the major benefits of using natural essential oils, is it does oxygenate the bloodstream and carry oxygen into the blood. So just from that, I would conclude that it probably is very helpful, if not effective. Now, which oils would be more effective? We could probably find some information on various oils and their oxygenating capabilities, but I just wanted to throw that in, that there's a very good chance that there are oils, and I'd have to do some research to see which kind of oils and what organic compounds would be more likely to facilitate emulsification.
I know that the oils that are recommended for heart and arteries, I can tell you those because I know that from the books, and that's helichrysum, aroma life, and cedar and cypress. So those are the ones that I would look at, but the resources that I mentioned are really the best place to find that. And also, you can find testimonials for those of you who are interested in that. This is anecdotal information, but it still helps, I think, to know what other people have used and how it has worked for them. And there's a great website called oil-testimonials.com. So oil-testimonials.com. And you can just plug in words and search for heart or arteries or a particular problem, plaque. You could put that in and see what comes up. And we found that very helpful for a lot of folks we know. Okay, let's see. I know there's some more questions here. Please review your formula for glass cleaning with vinegar. I usually put in a quart spray bottle, I usually put 1 cap of just a very, like a half a cap or a quarter of a cap of the Thieves household cleaner, and 1/4 to 1/2 cup of vinegar, and then fill that quart bottle up with water. And that's how I make my formula. It's mostly water and vinegar and just a tiny little bit of the Thieves household cleaner, and that's really all that's necessary to make a good cleaner for your glasses and stainless steel. And we also use that same formula for, we have it's a vinyl flooring in our kitchen. It looks like marble, but it isn't. It's very pretty, but it's white, and it has a particular surface on it that they said we had to be very careful of with cleaning products, and it was pretty expensive. It was a very expensive flooring when we got it, and we use it on there, and I prefer that very light mixture that I use for windows for cleaning that surface, and it hasn't damaged it at all. And then we have another question. What about mold growing in crawl spaces below the first floor of a structure? How is that accessed and treated? So Ed, you want to take that one?
Yeah, this is a common problem that people have quite often. That's where the problem starts, is in a crawl space or in the drain from your air conditioning unit in the basement, or from cracks in basement walls and things like that. The crawl spaces should have been lined with plastic when the house was built, but a lot of builders don't think about mold when they're building houses, and I guess that's understandable. But if there's mold in the crawl space, the spores will find ways to get into the living quarters above through conduits such as pipes that go up from the crawl space through the floor, cracks in various ways. So depending on the age of the house and the conditions, if I do an inspection and I see that that's the source of their mold problem, there are several things that can be done. One is to get a heavy black plastic and put in on the ground to keep the mold spores coming up from the ground, and even then you can seal the conduits that I mentioned with a silicone sealer or something like that, so it doesn't get through. So you can eliminate this as a source, unless it opens into your basement. I've seen that in some cases. And then it's fairly handy usually to stick a diffuser in there, and you might want to do that in any crawl space first, because it is generally less than the volume of space of a 1,000 square foot room, and the diffusing is very effective in a room of 1,000 square feet up to maybe even 1,500 in a normal size ceiling. But in a crawl space, you've only got 2 or 3 feet, and so you don't have as much volume. So usually one diffuser in the crawl space run for 24 hours will take care of the mold that's growing there and the spores that are in the air, and then you can seal the cracks and put down the plastic so that it doesn't repeat.
Okay. Let's see. What is best for mold, especially orange mold in showers, on the walls and floors? Ed?
Surfaces, we recommend inside that you use the Thieves household cleaner straight for this. Now you'll notice on the bottle that the solution dilution rates are pretty high. You can do major degreasing with 1 to 15, but we recommend for mold, just so you're really getting to it, that you use it full strength and scrub it and leave it on there for 15 minutes or so before you flush it and wash it off. Typically, showers are the hardest to control the mold there, because if you have tile, you have grout, which is porous, and the water stays in there from the shower, and mold loves that kind of an environment, so it'll keep rebounding and regrowing. If you use the Thieves oil and diffuse it in there once, oh gosh, once every 2 or 3 weeks or a month, and maybe once a month scrub it down with the full strength household cleaner, it will eliminate the problem. Now, it may not take all of the color or stain that has accumulated over time, but it will kill the mold, so you're not breathing mold spores and you're not going to be exposed to mold. It may take a little more elbow grease or something to get that stain removed, but that's a different story. The thing that you should be most concerned about is live mold growth and spores, which can cause health problems, and the Thieves household cleaner, full strength, and diffusing will take care of that problem.
Well, and if you're using the Thieves household cleaner and cleaning on a regular basis, you're much less likely to have that mold come back, even if you're using it at diluted ratios. But like Ed said, if you're going to be cleaning mold that's actually visible, you want to use it full strength, undiluted, no water added to it. And an easy way to do that is just open the bottle up and stick a sprayer in the bottle. And you just use it right out of the bottle that it comes in. We do that when we have visible mold, but normally we mix everything up in little spray bottles and use it that way. And I wanted to share, we had this one story from a woman when we were at convention. She came up and she told us that she had had a shower and she used the Thieves household cleaner, and she used it undiluted, but she couldn't seem to get rid of the mold. And I don't know whether it had actually penetrated. I think she told me she had tile and grout, so I'm fairly certain it had penetrated the grout deep enough that it was really causing a problem. But she said what she did was she took her diffuser, because she read that we said to run the diffuser for 24 to 72 hours. She took her diffuser and set it inside her tub after she cleaned with Thieves household cleaner, and she just ran that diffuser in there for 2 days. And she said when I went back, the stain and everything was gone. So if you have something like that, you might want to try that, because that may be the answer to the problem. Okay, I think that's all of the questions. Anybody else have any questions before we go? If you do, raise your hand real quick, and I will scroll down through here. I don't see any more hands going up, so all right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today, and we will have our monthly oils webinar on the first Saturday next month. That will be on Saturday, November the 2nd. And this is the way we help, one way that we help everybody learn more about the value and power of Young Living and the products that we have. I wanted to mention to you, if you're looking for, I have 3 articles on naturesmoldrx.com. That's our website now. One is 10 simple, uncommon, and effective tips to avoid mold, flu, and bacterial infections. And that's up on the home page when you go there. But we have a couple of other articles. Let's see, one other article is 12 reasons to use Young Living's Thieves household cleaner and clean green. And this was posted in March of 2013. So you'll have to go over on the right-hand side of the website and look for the list that shows, articles that have been posted in previous months. It won't actually give you the title, but if you click, it'll give you the month. So if you click on March, then you'll have to scroll down because there's another one up at the top. But it gives you 12 reasons to use Young Living's Thieves household cleaner and clean green, and it has a lot of tips from people who have used the products for all kinds of cleaning, all-purpose cleaning, window cleaner, grout cleaner, carpet freshener, Homemade Thieves laundry detergent, wood furniture cleaner, and it goes on from there. And air freshener, just all kinds of things. So you can find that on our website. And also, if you look at the at that same website, there is a link that you can access on the right-hand side that says what people say about Young Living Thieves Oil and the Thieves Household Cleaner and the mold protocol developed by Dr. Ed Close. And in there, you'll find a lot of testimonials about people who have used the oils and the household cleaner. And you'll find new ways. There is actually a comment by somebody that I don't know who found that there were just tremendous little tips in that page, and they were very happy to have them. So those are resources you can access online. Let's see, Ed, thank you so much for being here. Everybody, thank you for being here. Honey, I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you for all you do. And we can't hear Ed, so Ed I'm not sure what's going on there, but this is Jackie Close for both of us saying.
And Ed saying, stay happy and healthy.
There he is. So this is Jackie Close saying so long for now, and we just pray that you be blessed exceedingly, abundantly, above and beyond anything you can hope or dream, and that you always live in vibrant health. God bless everyone. Bye for now.